Anderson County Road Service, how can I help you?
Yes, I'm trying to reach the Belton Police Department.
You need to talk to an officer, or what exactly are you needing?
I wanted someone in administration. I actually wanted to speak with the chief or someone in his office if possible.
Let's see. The only thing that I can do, I'm not sure if the chief is called on duty today, but if he's at work, you should be able to reach him at 338-8448.
Okay, let me get a pen. Just a moment.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, 338.
8448.
8448. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Ashcott Services.
Yes, I'm trying to reach the chief of police for Belton Police Department.
Okay, what I have to do is take your name and number and let them get him a message to give you a call.
Yes, that'd be fine.
And your name?
My name is Mr. Kamau, spelled Kamau.
And the phone number he can reach you at?
He can reach me at 800-473-5097, extension 3.
Okay, 800-473...
5097.
5097, extension 3.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And what's it regarding?
It's actually regarding some pretty outstanding work that the chief did. We had a client who reported that she was beaten in a domestic event, and the police officer who arrived did a pretty bad job. We filed a complaint, and she has since called us to tell us that the chief did a pretty good job at both getting at the problem, addressing all of her concerns, and really cleaning up the issue. So I wanted to thank the chief personally and tell him that we appreciate him taking the complaint seriously and acting on it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so if you can pass that along, he can call me or not. I just wanted him to know that we've reviewed the case, we're closing it, and the client is happy, and she felt that the chief played a big role in solving her concern. He took it personal, he got involved, and really got to the bottom of the issue.
Okay, and... All right, I'll have him give you a call.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye. You too. Bye.
On July 7th, 2012, I was a victim of criminal domestic violence here in South Carolina. And when I called the policemen, they arrived, and within 5 minutes, they spoke to the person who hit me and decided that since they didn't witness the incident take place, that they weren't going to arrest the person who hit me. So they told me I could come back to the judge in the city. I live in a very small town, so he's only there a couple of days per week. And it took me a month to track the judge down and go to him and ask that he have the person arrested for the CDD, in which the judge refused to do. Because the policeman told him a totally different story about what happened that day. Well, I went and contacted an attorney friend that I know, and he personally went and talked to the judge, showed him the pictures of my abuse that I took that day because the police had lost his pictures. And they issued a warrant for the assailant. He was brought in, bonded out, and from that day he was bonded, which was August 16th, I didn't hear one word from the local policeman. I would go to them asking questions about what was going on. They couldn't tell me anything. I was never provided a victim advocate. In fact, if I called them, they would put me on hold and say they would call back. I was never given any kind of information as far as what was going on with the case. And I was just getting more frustrated by the day. I didn't know who to talk to. I had the solicitor, the victim's advocate. They were at a loss as to what was going on. So I did a little research on the internet about police abuse and found the website at policeabuse.com and wrote a letter. And the very next day, the new chief of police where I live called me and asked what the problem was. So he called me into his office. He wasn't even aware of the criminal domestic violence that had taken place on July the 7th because the responding officer had hidden the paperwork and had not even done anything about it. But so now the police that came out that day on July 7th has resigned from the force. The new chief of police has gotten a victim's advocate that has never been done in this little small town, and I know for a fact that it was because of the complaint filed by police abuse, the staff, and I'm very thankful for it. And since then, the chief of police calls me at least a couple of times a week. I've talked to a victim's advocate. In fact, today I talked to one, and we're coming to a resolution on this case in the next 2 weeks.
So let me ask you a question. That's really such a great story. So what happened is you were being ignored, and the officer who basically and I'm assuming he responded to your domestic violence situation, and he didn't handle it competently. Is that right?
No, that's exactly right. And James, I don't know if I know if I should use his name, the guy that hit me, even admitted that he flipped out and shoved me, as he put it, to get me out of his face. And I had bruises, black eye, a broken finger, and the policeman saw that, and he said, well, I didn't witness it, so I'm not going to arrest him. He's free to go. And
well, this is really important. You're telling me that you had a broken finger, you had bruises on your face, and you were injured, and the officer who came out to look into it refused to make an arrest because he says he didn't see it?
He said because he didn't witness it, that he was going to let the person go. And I said, well, what if he comes back to finish the job? He says, then we'll handle it. And later on, another officer came by the house because I asked him, was there ever a police report filed? And he brought like a half page where what the responding officer had written down was that I didn't call the police in a timely manner and didn't go to the neighbors. I was locked in my bedroom, and the other policeman came to the house to bring that report to me and to see how I was doing, and he said that other officer came back to the office and said he didn't have time to deal with the paperwork. But too, because the new chief of police, he's only been here maybe a month and a half, he wasn't aware of any of this, and since they reopened my case, there are 20 more cases that this other officer hid and didn't do his job, and he's having to go back and reopen all of these cases.
Whoa, you mean these are all women who are victims of domestic violence, and this involving this same officer? He wouldn't take a report?
Exactly. It's like if you came out and you're a woman, and even with bruises, and if you saw the pictures that day, you wouldn't believe it. But the new chief has uncovered 20 cases where this other policeman, he would come out, wouldn't do anything about it, write up a bogus report saying it was unfounded, or the victim wasn't her, or whatever. And they're uncovering all this, and he's having an outside investigation done on their police department. I think they were already starting to get a few complaints that the old chief had ignored, but this new chief said he's going to do everything right by the book. And when he got my complaint from you to him, that really made him start looking into everything, and that's when he realized the scope of this guy's incompetence. He is really working hard. He's working with the solicitor's office and the victim's advocate group to make sure that when this happens again, and I'm sure it will, that they handle it properly from start to finish. I felt, the day that this happened in July when I was assaulted, the policeman, when I was crying and upset because I was hurt really bad, I came in the house and slammed the door, and that policeman kicked my door in and said, I'll arrest your ass for being disrespectful.
He said that to you?
He said that to me. done in my life. When we went to court, when they finally arrested James and took him to court, he gets up there and lies about it in court. About what happened that day, that I didn't call the police and that I just let it happen. Well, James had my phone and I was locked in the bedroom to keep from getting beat up further.
Now, the officer, what is his name, and did he resign? You said he did resign, correct?
He did resign. He resigned on his own without being told, and his name is Jim Foster.
Jim Foster, I remember it on
The
the...
other cops,
Yeah.
the other cops didn't even like him. That says a lot right there, because another policeman came to my house, Officer Chandler, and he said, none of us like this guy. He lets things fall between the cracks, and he called him a woman hater.